push end exam. Now my heart's beating. I'm like, this is it. Am I getting in dental school or am I not? I'm waiting. They make me do that bullshit survey. I'm like, fuck this survey, man. Give me my score. I see the score report come out. And I was fucking crushed. I was crushed. Alright, so a lot of you have been asking me how I got into dental school. Like, what was my journey to get in? And it's a good fucking story. Alright, so you're gonna wanna hear this. And I'm gonna start from the very beginning. I'm gonna start from college. So I'm a freshman in college, right? I went to the Penn State University. I'm in there, my freshman year, didn't do that hot. Just didn't. My first semester, I got wrecked. I got a bunch of B's, bunch of C's. Actually, my first year, I think, was just overall pretty bad. And, I had this idea of wanting to be a doctor or a dentist, and, I'm like, well, I'm fucking this up right now. But I didn't really know how to study. I didn't really have discipline yet. I was just like trying to figure out college, trying to make friends, cared too much about girls, cared too much about my social life. Like things that, your social life's important, but not at the expense of your grades, especially when you're trying to go to grad school, right? So I go home for that summer and I get verbally assaulted by my parents and my brother. And they were like, what the fuck are you doing? Like you have like a 3.0 GPA and you're trying to go to dental school or med school. I didn't know at the time. I just had a bunch of excuses, as all of us do at that age. And my dad said something to me that kind of stuck with me for the rest of my college career. And that was, if you continue this path that you're on, like good luck, like you're getting nowhere. Like what you want to do, you're just not going to get there, and there's nothing I can do at that point. So I hope you figure it out. And I'm like, well, shit. Like, and when you're 18, 19, and your dad says that to you, and your dad is your superhero kind of figure in your life, you're like, shit, I fucked up. I gotta figure something out here. And I'm a freshman, and I dug myself a pretty decently big hole. My sophomore year comes around, I'm on a new level of like, all right, I gotta figure this out now. I gotta perform. I gotta get discipline. Because discipline is the foundation of all success, not anything else, right? You need to build consistency and discipline, right? And I'm like, I don't have that. I need to build that now. I had a strong work ethic coming from high school, but I just wasn't that smart. I wasn't efficient. I was just, I don't know. I clearly needed work, right? So my sophomore year comes around and I'm on my shit now. I'm studying way harder than I ever did. I'm telling my boys I can't party. I gotta study. You guys do your thing. I'll link up when I have time. And I did a lot better my sophomore year. Like I didn't do amazing, but I got some A's now, mixed in with some B's, and that was sort of my fall semester of my sophomore year. My spring semester, I was taking some harder classes now, 200 level bios and 200 level chems, and like I'll never forget. It was that harder level biology that I took. I really figured out how to study. Like I recorded every lecture. I wrote down everything the professor said from every lecture. I never missed a lecture, that year, I think, for the most part, because I wanted to record every lecture. There was no class capture when I was in college. That didn't exist. So I had to show the fuck up and record everything. I'll never forget that spring semester biology class I took. I was 1 point away from an A. I got like a B+. I was 1 point away, and I'm like, God damn it, dude. Like I'm this close, but I'm just not there yet. And college is a game of points and numbers and being perfect. Because you gotta be almost perfect to get that A. You can only miss a couple questions per exam. So now I'm like pissed off because I'm like, I know I can do this. Like I got like an 89, I think, in that class or something. And I'm like, I can't keep getting B's, man. Like that's just not gonna raise my GPA at this point. My junior year comes around and I'm like a little bit more mature. I'm more disciplined now. I built that foundation. And now I'm ready to kill this year. Because this is my junior year. This is my most important year. And I'm not gonna like fuck this up. Because this is my last hope now. My junior and senior years are my last hope. I need to get this done. My junior year comes, I'm focused beyond measure, right? I'm in the library like excessively. I'm finding smart people to surround myself with, to study with. My boy Hussein, he's a resident now. He's an EM, FM resident, he's my boy. We grinded together, man. We took all the same classes. We were in the library late night, like on Friday night, Saturday night, it didn't matter. We were there and we were hustling. That year, I got 4.0s both semester. I wasn't fucking around that year. And And that's when I really realized, like, okay, I'm not an idiot. Like, I'm capable of this. It just comes down to work ethic, discipline, and the things that I'm talking about, right? It comes down to not being lazy and distracted by stupid shit like girls and drinking and partying. That's always going to be there. And I'm not saying don't have fun. I had some of the best years in my life in college, but I made sure that I was focused first and I got my work done first. So now my junior year killed it. My senior year killed it. I got 4.0s my last 2 years of college. So now I have an upward trajectory of grades. I started bad my freshman year and I worked my way up to doing very well. So now I'm like, all right, this is going to be good for me. This is a good look for my application, right? I graduated with a 3.65 cum and like around a 3.5 science. So not amazing, but good enough. And that's what I needed. Those 4.0s really helped me. That was my college experience. Now I took a year off. And we all know the DAT is a very important exam to get into dental school, right? Post-graduation is tough, right? Because you're leaving what you know behind. You're moving your ass back home. And I'm off for a whole year now. And the second I graduate, I got to study for my DAT. And that's a hard transition to make, but I had no choice. So, I come up with a plan, do my best to execute that plan. And I am studying day and night. I'm waking up at 9 a.m. I'm not eating anything till like 2 p.m. And I'm only eating chicken breast. I lost like 10 pounds studying for this exam because I'm not eating any garbage, no carbs. I need to focus. And carbs put you to sleep, right? So I was like on a different level of like, grind mode for this exam. Because this is like, there's a lot of pressure. This is one of the hardest times of my life studying for this exam because there was so much pressure. I knew this was it, right? This is my last chance. I did the GPA part, now I need this part. So I'm studying. Exam day finally comes. Long story short, I did pretty well on the whole exam except one section, the reading section. And what happened in that section, I can't even tell you on camera because it's rated R, right? Long story short, I botched the reading section so badly, like so bad that it was an embarrassment, right? And I'm like, I got a 20 overall, but my reading is so bad. Like I'm not taking this exam again. I refuse. So I rode with that score, right? I got like 24 bio, 22s on the chems. Perception was pretty bad too. I think I got like a 18 or 16 or something. Reading was like 14 or some shit, like low. But that was good enough for the 20. So I'm like, you know what? 20 is competitive. Maybe I'll be all right. So I apply. I got 2 interviews, 2 schools I really didn't want to go to. And I'm like, man, this is, and December rolled around. Everybody's getting acceptances in December. And I didn't hear shit. So now I'm like starting to sweat. I'm like, you know what? I gotta figure something out. Like this is not it for me. I'm not gonna go down like this. And I knew I still had that second phase of admission, which is after December, right? December to May or whatever. I'm from Philly, right? And Temple was my dream school. So I'm like, I gotta figure out how to get to Temple. That's the only school I want to go to. I don't want to go to any other school. I'm from here. I want to go to Temple. It's a great school. Like that was my mindset. The other schools I interviewed at were in Florida, like New York, like Toro, that new school. Like I didn't want to do all that. I had this thought one day. Let me just drive my ass down to Temple. I'm gonna park my ass at McDonald's, which is down the street. And I'm gonna walk up in Temple and I'm gonna say I need a fucking spot. And that was my idea. So I did it. I drove up, parked at McDonald's, walked in. I'm like, where the hell is the admissions office? I found the admissions office and I was greeted by Kendra, a real strong woman, real intimidating woman. And I'm like, how you doing? And everybody knows who Brian Hahn is. Sadly, he left Temple, but if you went to Temple for the last 15 years, you know who Brian Hahn is. And I'm like, can I speak to Brian? Like, I have a couple questions for him. And Kendra was like, you can't just walk up in here and ask to speak to the dean of admissions. It doesn't work like that. I'm like, Kendra, sweetheart, I just drove an hour and a half. No, I didn't. I drove like 40 minutes. I just drove an hour and a half. Just give me 5 minutes. That's all I ask. Give me 5 minutes. She reluctantly picked up the phone, called Brian. Brian, there's a student here for you. You want to see him or no? And by the grace of God, Brian said, send him back. So now I'm back there. I'm shitting my pants now. I'm speaking to the dean of admissions, man. The GOAT, Brian Hahn. And this man changes lives. So I'm like, I walk in there and he's like, what's up, man? Like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, Brian, this is my dream school. Tell me what I have to do to get in. I'll do anything. You know what he told me?